I never believed the dead could complain. Not until the morning the school bell rang. And the sound came back wrong, like it had moved through a throat that wasn't built for breathing. This town said the past was handled. They cleared the weeds, poured the slab, raised a school over land no one wanted to talk about. I took the job because I needed one. I stayed because leaving started to feel like an apology no one would accept. During orientation, the principal joked about settling. Floors settle, walls settle, people settle. The ground was uneven, he said, eyes not quite finding mine. In my classroom, the laminate floor had a soft spot near the back row. Step there and it gave a little, like pressing a thumb into the belly of a sleeping animal. My students noticed quickly and avoided it. Even the class clown wouldn't stand there for attention. The copies of our emergency contact list got misprinted the first week. Every student name reappeared with a second name in faded gray beneath it, like a shadow or a correction. Eleanor Harper under Lena, Benton Crow under Mark. Some kids laughed, some didn't. I tried to reprint them. 3 times the printer stalled, chewed, sighed. When the 4th set finally spit out clean, I tossed the bad stacks into the recycle bin. That night, the names I'd thrown away showed up carved into the soft patch of floor, curled and jagged, as if scratched by fingernails. At lunch, the gym smelled like rubber and lemon cleaner. Every gym does, until the students rolled out the bleachers. A damp, sour odor rose from the gap where the metal rails met concrete. The kind of scent that says the ground has been wet for too long. The custodian, Mr. Howard, sprayed deodorizer like he was trying to argue. When I asked if we had a leak, he said we had a history. This was a cemetery, I said. He didn't nod, didn't shake his head. He just pressed the nozzle down until the can hissed itself empty. The library kept a thin binder of scans from the town archives. Old maps, brittle deeds. I found a plat marked Potter's Field in a looping hand, right where our cafeteria sits now. The legend listed rows, not names. Row A, 19. Row B, 24. Row C, 21. The librarian closed the binder softly, like tucking in a child. They moved what they could. She whispered. She didn't say what couldn't be moved. By the second week, someone started knocking on my classroom window during last period. Not playful, not a prank, a measured, patient tapping, like someone borrowing time. The view outside was the south lawn and a chain link fence. No trees, nowhere to hide. I walked over and saw a boy's reflection in the glass, dark hair, pale face, collar too high, like a style from a photograph. When I turned around, every seat was full. When I looked back, the reflection didn't match anyone sitting there. I started marking 2 columns each morning, present students, and the ones I suspected might be, doubled. The extra names arrived like fog. You never see the first wisp. Only the world after it thickens. During a fire drill, the count kept coming up wrong, 26 bodies for 25 names. The principal asked whose friend I'd miscounted. I wanted to say the extra kid stayed quiet, very still, like he didn't want to be noticed. But he wanted to be counted. The music teacher said the choir room echoed strangely. Notes didn't decay, they got collected, like coins in a jar. I stood there after school and clapped once. The sound returned thinner but many. A handful of small claps, like a choir of children imitating me from a distance. I kept listening until the echo formed a pattern, 2 claps back. Pause, 1 clap, pause, 3 claps, a rhythm, or a code. Or just the way the dead nod when they're trying to be polite. When the soft spot in my floor cracked, I asked for a repair ticket. The district said they'd send a contractor next month. I brought a pry bar instead and waited until everyone left. Under the laminate was particle board. Under that, a thinner plywood. Under that, damp soil. I dug with my hands until my nails went black. 6 inches down, my fingers found wood, dark, swollen. The lid wasn't a coffin's, too rough. Too small, a child's box, maybe, or a part of one. I brought the old plat map back to my room and matched rows to the school layout. The cafeteria was row B. The gym sat across row D. My classroom's back corner aligned with row C, grave 21. The carved names on my floor weren't random, they were neighbors. I whispered them in order. Eleanor, Benton, Ruth. When I said Samuel, the overhead light flickered. When I said Samuel Harper, the floor breathed out, a warm, sweet rot. like someone relieved to hear their whole name. That night, I finished what I'd started. The box's lid was brittle, and the nails gave up like they were glad. Inside was fabric laced with soil, a small button the color of milk, a photograph glued to wood. The picture showed a little boy in a dark jacket with that same high collar. Chin tilted, trying to look brave. Behind him, a fence. Behind the fence, a bell. I didn't take anything. I just looked until the room felt crowded and whispered. Samuel Harper, present. Morning came with fog. When the bell rang, it didn't pass through the building like usual, it rose from the ground. Under our feet, clean and bright for one full second. The soft spot in my floor felt level. The smell under the bleachers thinned to something like wet leaves. At dismissal, the window gave one last tap. I looked anyway. The lawn was empty. The fence was just a fence. But the reflection in the glass showed one desk more than I owned. And a boy with his hands folded, waiting for roll call. The principal slid a sticky note onto my desk that afternoon. Good work resolving the attendance discrepancy, it said. In my own handwriting, I stared at it until the letters blurred. I hadn't resolved anything. We'd lifted a lid, we'd said one name right. Maybe that's all some places want. Maybe that's enough to keep a school standing until the next construction grant. The next bright idea that asks the ground to forget itself. Here's what I can teach: grammar, research skills, how to cite a source, how to listen for what someone meant instead of what they said. Here's what I won't: that the dead are unreasonable, that time heals all things, that you can build whatever you want, wherever you want, and the earth will understand. When we cover local history next month, I'll assign the archives. I'll ask my students to map the town we live in against the town we pretend we do. We'll see where the lines don't fit. If you're listening and you work where I do, take attendance carefully. Read the names that don't belong to you. Say them the way the ground said them first. If your floor breathes, breathe back. If your bell rings wrong, open a door. Somewhere in this building a window is tapping. Softly, politely, as if asking to be counted. I hear it now. The pause between taps. The patient rhythm. I'm going to answer. If this story gave you chills, like the video, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments. Would you keep teaching at a school built over a cemetery? What name would you read out loud?